Fix your credit, girl, get at it, get your bag up.
Hit that gym and get back fine. Go get that degree. Go, girl, focus on me. Unlock potential that you didn't know.
Okay. Welcome back to part 2 of how my 2-month-old twin son died in 2005. Okay, so let's cut straight through the fact. So when the autopsy and everything came back and the hospital told me what my son's death was caused by, they said it was SIDS. SIDS is SIDS, and it stands for sudden infant death syndrome. So basically what SIDS mean in a nutshell is you pretty much just an infant and you pass away in your sleep, but you're healthy. So pretty much means no cause of death except it was sudden and he was an infant death, sudden infant death. That's the only cause they could get out of that. That's all I had. That's all I had was SIDS. It's a condition that they say is common in African American males, like they say everything else. But he was healthy. He was bigger than Anaja. He was 5 pounds. When he came out, she was 2.14 pounds. So he clearly was getting all the food and nutrition. So nothing was wrong with my son. It was just sudden. Like, I don't know if he was laying the wrong way. I don't know if the cover was over him and he couldn't breathe at some point because I wasn't in there. So I just don't know. And that's all I had to go by, is that it was sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS. Google it and look it up if you want to read up more on it. But fast forward to a month later. My son passed April 28th. If you run up on this video before you watch part 1, then stop this video and go watch part 1 first so that you can know the beginning part of my son's death instead of hearing the last part first. It's part 1, how my son died. And then come back. And for you guys that saw part 1, or if you want to stay on this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up real quick right there in front of you on the screen, because it'll help me grow on YouTube and reach people that may want to be interested in my content. And then go ahead and click that subscribe button in red right there to the right and subscribe to the channel so that you can enjoy more of my content, more of my story times, more of my business ventures, more of my weight loss tips, and more of my weight loss journey while having a vertical sleeve, small stomach pretty much. I had weight loss surgery. So subscribe so you can come on all these life journeys with me pretty much. And then make sure you hit that bell. When you hit subscribe, it's a bell next to it. Hit that bell right there and click all so that you can receive all my notifications when I post. Subscribe and join the tribe. So now fast forward, my son passed April 28th. My grandmother passed. We buried my grandmother. I gotta look at her program to know her definite death date, but I know we buried, it might be May 28th, because I just looked at her program not too long ago when we moved. So yeah, she passed May 28th, 2005. Backstory on my grandma. My heart, pretty much. And if you got a grandmother that's still alive, or a deceased grandmother that you stayed with all the time and you adored her, then you know what I'm saying. That was my rock. That was who I want to be with instead of my mama. That was who I told on my mama too when I felt like my mama wasn't treating me right. She was my heart. Scratched my back to go to sleep, slept with her every night. When I stayed with her, we cooked together. She the one who had me in the kitchen. My business is named after her, Louise's Country Kitchen. My grandmother's middle name is Louise. Her first name is Jeanette. My middle name is Louise. My first name is Clarissa. So I'm actually named after her as well. That's why my channel name is Clarissa Louise. My business name, my catering business name is Louise's Country Kitchen, because that's me and her. We from the country. We used to always be whipping it up in the country kitchen. The little country shotgun house that she raised all 14 of her kids in. That's where I come from. Country gravel road with no insulated AC and heat, stuff like that. Super country. But so my grandmother had, you know, just to sum it up, my grandmother had a lot of a lot of illnesses. She was diabetic. She was smoking cigarettes at one point. She had took pills and had patches to quit smoking. She was a diabetic but didn't want to stop eating the foods that she was supposed to stop eating. She was pretty stubborn, high blood pressure, stuff like that. So when she passed when she was 75. So and if y'all haven't seen part 1, then I'm out here working now. I'm now finna be on my 5th mile. I had a 6-mile goal. If you missed the first video, part 1, then this is sunscreen on my face. I didn't rub it in because it got stiff, so it's just sitting here to block the sun. Sorry, I had to let y'all know that. But she passed when she was 75, which I feel like was way too young. She had 14 kids, 12 still living. She had 4 sets of twins, and that's why me and my cousin had twins. She used to always say that my generation was gonna have twins because she had 4 sets. I don't know how they knew how to calculate what generation was gonna have twins, but she always used to tell us that out of all 12 of her kids that's living, none of them had twins. It went straight to her kids, which is us. I had fraternal twins, a boy and a girl, and I got another first cousin that had 2 girls, identical. So she was right. I used to always think she was throwed off for saying it. But she had just got sick. She was stressed. She got some crooked ass sons that used to steal her money from her, live with her in charge of food stamps. Pretty much just some raw dog leeches that I would never in this lifetime have respect for, because I feel like they stressed my granny out so much that she just took sick and didn't care to get well and fight for her life. That's always what I believed, and that's what I'm sticking to. I took care of her during her sickness. During my whole pregnancy, she got dementia. She would go in and out, and I was her caregiver basically. And so I would take her, give her insulin, check her sugar, give her a bed bath and stuff like that. And when she would go in and out, she would call me, she would call me a pregnant hoe and tell me I didn't know who my baby daddy was. And I used to go running crying to my mama, Granny called me a pregnant hoe. And then my mama would run in there like, Mama, don't be saying that to Clarissa. You know she pregnant and emotional, and she know who her baby daddy is. Oh, man. But my grandmother was the glue. And I know we all say this. Like, we all say that we have a glue in our family that hold us all together. But when I tell y'all, my granny was the glue to our family. We had all the holidays at her house. We got a shitload of family here in Houston that would travel down to the country an hour and a half away to her house. Her other kids would come from other states. Like it was always something. Every holiday, family reunions, all of that. So I get my cooking techniques and my passion and love for cooking actually from her, because we was always in the kitchen cooking for the family gatherings. And whether she had me picking peeling potatoes, sauteing onions for the scratch made gravy, seasoning the chicken, checking on the food, like that was me and her thing, was to fix a cup of coffee in the mornings, cook our breakfast, and we cooked for the family gatherings. That was us. And when we wasn't cooking, she was sending one of her sons to town to pick us up a bucket of KFC chicken because she loved her some KFC. So when she got sick, I took care of her up until I had my babies. So then I had my babies by this time. So let me try to give y'all a visual how everything went down since it was so close together. I was out one night. I think my mama and them. Yeah, I don't think my mama and them had my daughter. My son had just passed, and I was out. Had been out all night. Had popped the XO. Just gonna keep it real. Yes, I was addicted to X pills back then. X pills was real big. Ecstasy was real big back then. That was my thing. Weed, X pills, and alcohol, and cigarettes. So I'm still grieving my son. So I'm out, had been out with my homegirl all night. We rolling, hadn't been to sleep. So, where was I? Sorry, I had a phone call. Okay, I was out rolling. Got the phone call from my mama. My granny was here in Houston. I was still living in my hometown at the time. I went 30 minutes from Houston. And my mom called me. My grandmother was here in Sugar Land at a rehabilitation center because she had went through like where she had a trach in her throat. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's where you have a hole in your throat. Why she had to get that because she aspirated at some point, like when she was living with us. One night she was asleep and she threw up in her sleep. And then when you throw up and regurgitate and take your throw up back in, it messes up some shit in your vocal system in your throat. And I ain't know that until that happened. So because that happened to her, they wound up having to take out her voice box. Not her voice box, but I really don't understand why they had to cut the hole in her throat. But they cut the hole in her throat to put a trach because her swallowing her throw up caused her voice box to go out. And so she couldn't talk. The only way we could hear her talk is if they put that hole in her throat and put the trach in there. And the trach is just another voice box so that when she talked, it would come out and sound kind of like robotic, if that makes sense. Look it up if you're more interested in that. But so she had just had a lot going on. So she was in the rehabilitation center here in Sugar Land, Texas, outside of Houston. And my mom called me and said that they had called her and said that we immediately need to get down there, like right now. And so my mom had already had an idea of what was going on because hospitals and stuff are not supposed to tell you over the phone that somebody passed. So you can read between the lines. At the time they call you, it was like early in the morning, probably like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't been to sleep because I'm up on the X pill high. And so with all that being said, just imagine how I was feeling. I'm trying to paint this visual for y'all because I was down bad, y'all. Your girl was down bad. I had just lost my son a month prior. Then they talking about we got to hurry up and get down here to Houston because they did say they couldn't tell us what was going on over the phone. So we already knew. And then because we had to drive there and it takes over an hour, they wound up calling my mama while we was on the road en route. My homegirl hurry up and rushed me home and we left. So I'm in the back seat, falling asleep, eyes bloodshot red, I'm crying. No, I wasn't even falling asleep, I was crying. Eyes bloodshot red because I hadn't been to sleep. I'm crying. I'm coming down off this X pill and I was messed up. And so they wound up calling my mama while we was en route and telling her that Granny had passed. My stepdad literally had to stop the car and we had to stop on side. I had to get out on side the road, throwing up, screaming. Even if I wasn't high and coming down off that pill, I probably still would have reacted the same way. It was just more intensified because I was already not in my right mind. And I hadn't been in my right mind for a long time. I was suicidal. I wanted to go be with my son and my granddad. Sometimes I still do want to go be with Ed and just go ahead and be done here. But I know I'm here for a bigger purpose. That's part of the reason why I have a counselor now that I only have seen twice. My next appointment is May 2nd actually. But I do have a therapist. I said for 2020 that I wanted to start, I wanted to go get the proper type of help. And what I mean by help is because I have healed a lot with no therapy. God has helped me heal and has provided for me and has mentally transformed my mental by himself, me, myself, and our source. But here on earth, I felt like I still have felt like that I need to talk to somebody that's not judgmental, that's not biased, that I can just pour out all my traumatizing situations to, and more look at them more like a life coach, pretty much. I'm sorry, y'all. Look at them more like a life coach. And so that's what I've been doing with my therapist. We've been talking, been setting some targets on some stuff for me to work on when it comes to my parenting skills, when it comes to my daughter's skills, because me and my mom have a horrible relationship. Another story time. I gotta tell y'all about how me and my mom relationship is so bad. I'm a preacher's kid, so that ought to say a lot with what I've been dealing with a narcissist, a controlling narcissist as a mother, and she a preacher. But I know the real her. So yeah. But yeah, pulled over, did all that, got down there, walked to the room. They had the door open, and when I saw her laying there, I had another attack. Hadn't slept in over 24 hours. Up, coming down off of an X pill. Man, I have been through some traumatizing things, and I feel like I've been battling PTSD ever since. Both of them has been 17 years since my son and my grandmother died a month apart. And when I get in my zone and be thinking about them, or I'm tired of dealing with life, tired of going through trials and tribulations because I feel like I done been through enough. Sometimes I have those thoughts like, I just want them. And the only way I can get to them is by not being here in the flesh no more. But when I have those type of thoughts, I'm strong enough to pull myself up out of that. And one thing about me is I'm a strong woman. I'm a Capricorn. We very strong-willed people. And I'm a spiritual light worker. At that, I gave the definition and some examples of what spiritual light worker is. You can Google it, or you can go find my video where I did a get ready with me in the work bathroom. Is what I normally do for some of my get ready with me's. You can go check out that one where I talked about me being an empath and a spiritual light worker. I'm tapping in to my spirituality. So I'm learning who I am. I know whose I am, but I'm learning who I am and my purpose here and why I'm here. And so while I've been researching all of that, I ran up on realizing that I have all the traits of a spiritual light worker. So and an empath. Y'all gotta go watch that video because I put the clips on the screen with the definitions from Google and everything. And I had even let Joy read them, and she was like, oh babe, that's you. That's you. So I'm enjoying tapping into my spirituality and learning all my gifts, working my gifts, and knowing and finding purpose in my life. Like I literally am finding purpose, and by me finding out what a spiritual light worker is, and now knowing that that's who our source created me to be, then it helps me understand why I'm here on this earth. It helps me understand why I was brought here. It helps me understand why I have dealt with the things that I have dealt with, even with the deaths, even with my granny and my son death, even with, people with dark issues that come into my life. I was placed here to go through and be a light and be a healing process for a season in people's lives. And even Joy asked me, she used to ask me all the time until now I finally told her that I found out why. But she used to ask me, like, she'd be like, damn, babe, I don't understand. Why is it that you always attract like hurt people? Like, why is it that you, like friends and stuff, why is it that you always attract people that don't know how to treat you like you treat them and don't know how to be genuine, or they always got some issues going on and they blowing up your phone, calling you, boggling you down with their problems when you be, and then that kill your energy, and then you be sitting up here crying and stressing because of what they going through, because I'm an empath. So I'm a feeler. Empath is feeler. Spiritual light worker is I'm here to share my light and help people that's in dark places. So now that I know all of that about myself, I had to explain and show Joy those definitions. And so now we both understand. And she's like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now. So now we know why I cry all the time when I see sad stuff or see somebody hurting, because I'm an empath and I feel what people feel. I feel people pain, literally. Well, if I see something on TV, I'm crying when somebody hurt. I'm crying when somebody crying, because an empath feels others, what they feeling. So when people call me with their drama and they stress, I feel that. And then that energy spews off into my household. And then here I am talking to my family. And it just trickles down and kills the whole vibe, because I soak up everybody's feelings. So that's another part of what my channel is about, is explaining to y'all and showing y'all how I'm tapping into my spirituality, how I'm learning why I'm placed on this earth and my purpose on this earth. And I'm just gonna bring all that to y'all, my manifestations, how I manifest, all story times on how I feel like my spiritual light worker be coming into play with how I be being treated by people. I'm not perfect. I'm not the best friend. I'm not the best mother. I'm not the best girlfriend. But I can tell you one thing. I'm working on not being the best. I'm working on being better and still being open to growing, still being open to learning, still being open to teaching myself every day how to be a better person in those areas, because I'll never be best and I'll never be perfect. I'm going to always fall short in some aspect, because people set expectations for you that you're not going to always meet. But I'm going to forever be willing to change. And that's a big step, because there's a lot of people out there that ain't willing to change. They stuck in their ways. They feel like they was born that way, and that's just what it is. They born, they gonna die that way. They ain't trying to hear what you talking about. They ain't finna change. They gonna talk to you how they want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be like that. I'm open for growth. I'm thirsty for growth. I'm hungry to know how to share my love and light into this world. I'm the underdog in everything I do. I'm the underdog in everywhere I go. People don't be wanting to fool with me. People don't be wanting to deal with me on the job. And it's, it took me years to know why. People don't like the light that they see in me. They don't like the light that they see in you. Because if you watching my videos and you subscribed, you a jewel just like me. You a jewel too. And us jewels, we got lights that shine so bright that a lot of these demons out here can't take it. They can't. And that's just in a nutshell. So I'm going to let y'all go. That's how my granny passed a month after my son passed. And I'm still healing. It's been 17 years and it never get old to me. I have learned how to still live and cope with it. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't have suicidal thoughts sometimes. I have had, I think, one really bad suicidal thought about 3 years ago. That was when I was just really down bad. No job, no money. Me and Joy had split up for 2 years, and I took that breakup really bad. I did some stuff that she didn't really like, which kind of felt like cheating to her, which it wasn't cheating. It was just trying to befriend the ex, and she couldn't take it and broke up with me. And then, of course, she came back because she know where it's real at. But that's another story time for another day. So I'm going to go on ahead and let y'all go before I keep talking. Y'all, I got so much to share with y'all. Like this video so I can reach more people. Share this video so I can reach more people, and people that's interested in my content and my stories and me sharing my trials and tribulations through life. I want y'all to come and watch me learn and grow and glow up, because that's all my life journey is about. Fixing my credit, becoming debt free, becoming financial free, trying to get out the struggle, trying to learn financial literacy and learn how to save money and invest in businesses the right way. It's just a bunch of journeys over here that I'm on, and I'm documenting all this with y'all. So if you want some journeys and you want to tap into any of my journeys and try to join me and learn from me, and we learn from each other, then subscribe and join the tribe. That's all I can say. Let those lights shine bright, because we all are jewels in God's eyesight. Bye, jewels.
It's time to boss up. Fix your credit, girl, get at it, get your bag up. Hit that gym and get back fine.
Go get that degree, go girl, focus on me. Unlock potential that you didn't know.